Hilchos Yesodei HaTorah Perikei Halacha Vov. The Rambam says, "Kinyan Shom Bo'insin Kach Omru." Same way that they said regarding the you have to transgress to save your life with every mitzvah except for the three major ones. So they said also when it comes to sickness, that Ketzad. What does this mean? Misha Cholo. Somebody who's very sick, V'not Alamus, and he's going to die. The doctor says, that is, he can be healed by eating something Meisur and Shabbat Torah, which is forbidden to be eaten from the Torah. Oisen, you do it, Misrab, and you become healed. B'chol Yisur Shabbat Torah, B'mokim Sakona, any forbidden thing in the Torah that is in time of emergency, so you shouldn't die. Chutz ma'avodas kechovim v'gila haroyesh v'shvichos domim, except for idol worship and immorality and murder. And even when there's a sakona, you do not heal yourself with that. He has to permit himself to die and not to be healed. Now, the source for this din is in the Gemara Msochem. Amar Abiyachan said, and everything one may heal himself except for idol worship, Gila Aroyes, or forbidden relationships, or murder. And it's talking about any situation of that's fraught with danger. Therefore, you can do it, except for the three main averes. And if he did transgress and heal himself with these three, here it's different than by healing from goyim. Non-Jews who force him to do an avera. When the non-Jews force him, even if he transgressed and he did not die, you don't punish him, since he did it against his will. But when it comes to sickness, if he heals himself with one of these three forbidden items, that is if he did it willfully, and therefore he would be liable for the death penalty. The pre-Chodesh questions. Even by a sick person, there's always the fear of death. Why, if he heals himself with one of these three, is it called against his will? And he answers, when a guy is going to kill him, certainly if he won't do what they want him to do, and if he does transgress, he knows for sure he's going to be saved, then it's considered saving his life. But by sickness, it's not proven that he won't die. Maybe he'll be healed, and therefore the Sefer HaMoratori Oven says it would seem the Pre-Chodesh understood the Rambam that you punish him with Bezin does so that which is correct. That doesn't mean that sin as if he did it willfully, but according to how Bezin sees. But the Abba Oven pushes this off and he says, Roy Loy would seem to be as if he did it willfully. The later commentaries say that the source of the Rambam to make a differentiation between where Goyim force him to where he is sick is not logic, and therefore it should say, it would seem to me, but since the Avodah Zorah, when somebody transgresses, even though he's not supposed to, on idol worship because he's forced, right? We learn this from a passage. It says, "Who I shall place my face I shall place myself against that person." They say, "Who?" That only that person, but not somebody who was forced. But by a sick person, you can't say that, since the Torah didn't permit a person to save himself in any case, and therefore it's different when he does it himself. The later commentaries go into the differentiations between a person who did something because he was sick to somebody who did something by force by those who are not who do not believe in God. Peirush HaMeir differentiates that by a goyim, non-Jews, the sin is what causes him death, because it says serve idol worship or be killed. So therefore he doesn't do it out of his will, but rather because the guy wants him to do it. Therefore if he did it It's considered something that is forced. However, by a sick person, it's not the sin that causes him to death, but it's his sickness. And the saving of himself by doing one of the three transgressions, he saves himself. And see, since the Torah is pushed off because of Pikuach Nefesh, because it says V'chai b'hem, you should not die with them, except for these three sins which are considered the most stringent, or the most terrible. Therefore, the desire to live is a natural desire that a person wants to live, and he wants to do the sin. And the sick person would willfully do so because he wants to live. Therefore, it's called that he has desire and willfulness to do it totally. It's as if he did it out of willingness. And just like every person who serves does in a transgression, there is a certain desire that why he did it. Otherwise, like he gets angry or he takes revenge. So too, the desire to live is what caused him to do it, and therefore he's punished whatever business decides is his appropriate punishment. We find an example in the Shach, a person that thieves came to take his money from his house, and he showed them, my house, I have no money here. My friend's house has silver. He has to pay what they stole from his friend because he saved his money by giving his friend's money away. But if they force him to show where's the banker's house, otherwise they'll take his stuff, he's potter, since that they knew about it anyway. It wasn't because he wanted them to go elsewhere. The obvious questions: why in Halacha Dalet, if he did transgress, you do not punish him, and here he is punished when he's sick. Here it would seem by Avodah Zarah, idol worship, which is very stringent, you don't punish him because it was forced. Certainly, when he wants to heal himself, that he doesn't. That's not the way you serve an idol. It's just for the purpose of healing. We shouldn't be punished. And he answers the difficulty in the way of the arbitrary oven. Explains the very Pri Chodesh that the Rambam's intent is not that you punish him as if he did it willfully, but you just fine him for doing with money, because Bezdin wants to make sure people will not do so with healing themselves with idol worship. But one should point out, with regard to this answer, why in Halacha Dalet the Rambam doesn't write that you punish him money because he didn't give himself up to be killed. Many later commentaries understood the Rambam that you do punish him the actual penalty for transgressing murder or relationships or idol worship.